Okay.
Oh, that's good.
You're ready to go.
Yeah. All right. Down there? Yes,
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us. Appreciate it. My name is Susan Henderson-Udis, and I have the pleasure of being the president for the Rose Community School Board, and I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And if you're able to do so, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Dr. Scott, if you would please call the roll.
Ken Dennett.
Here.
Hillary Fletcher.
Here.
Jackie Gusick.
Here.
Robert Kelly.
Here.
Susan Lane.
Here.
Kelly Schaefer.
Here.
Ava Finnegan.
Here.
Kenzie Grant.
Here.
Neil Sin. Teresa Nampson Williams. Here. Susan Henderson Udis.
Here.
Madam President, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Our first order is approval of the minutes. I'm going to go ahead and for A, legislative meeting minutes of November 18th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the reorganization meeting minutes of December 7th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is my great pleasure for the Eagle Scout Awards to Dylan Blazensky, Chaz Katz, Anthony Randazzo, and AJ Perillo. This is a tremendous honor, gentlemen, and I am very excited to be able to read this proposed resolution. Resolved, the Board of School Directors present the Rose Tree Media Award to the following students from Troop 430 for achieving Eagle Scout rank. And Dylan Blazensky, Chaz Katz, Anthony Randazzo, and AJ Torillo. For this, Dylan planted 50 native trees in Ridley Creek State Park. Chaz planned and oversaw cutting and sewing bolts of material to make masks for the essential workers at Elwyn, a project entitled Masks for Many. And Anthony designed and oversaw the building of an outdoor classroom at Glenwood. And AJ organized a candy drive and oversaw the process of creating and distributing treat bags as a holiday joy drive for the media food bank. Do I have a motion for this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Other than I am deeply impressed, gentlemen. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations. Don't at this time. And again, another congratulations to our Eagle Scouts there. Well done, gentlemen. We don't at this time have any educational presentations. We're going to move on to our student liaison reports. And I know our students have been really hard at work revising, and we expect even more amazing things later on, but thank you so much for all that you do.
Of course. Sorry. Is this okay? I'm Ava Finnegan, and I'll be starting the reports. In district-wide elementary news, caregivers from all elementary schools participated in teacher conferences the week of November 22nd. Caregivers registered online for a 20-minute Zoom meeting with their students' teachers. The virtual conferences were well received as it provided a convenient method to attend the conference and allowed them to meet virtually from anywhere. Also, our elementary students recognized Computer Science Education Week by participating in Hour of Code last Thursday. Hour of Code introduces students to computer science by engaging them in thought-provoking activities. Approximately 20 Pencrest students spent time in each of our elementary schools supporting the computer science activities. Thanks to Mr. Ritter and his team of students for being such great role models to our students. Now, here's an update from Glenwood Elementary School. Great job to the Glenwood community in participation with our annual penny competition. Although it is a competition, all students and staff worked together to raise $2,695 for grocery gift cards for Glenwood families. Wow, that is the biggest amount ever raised in approximately 10 years of running this competition. We are very thankful for all the encouragement from home because our students had a positive competitive spirit. A big thank you to our guidance counselor, Ms. Velios Miller, for organizing and counting all the coins. Also, congratulations to Ms. Beller's 5th grade class for making it to the finals of the 2021 Citizenship Challenge competition. The Citizenship Challenge is sponsored by the Rendell Center for Civics and Civic Engagement and is open to all schools in Pennsylvania. This year's focus question was, should schools be able to discipline students for what they say on social media? All schools submitted an essay to the judging committee, and Ms. Beller's class was chosen out of over 100 essays to move to the finals. For their essay, they researched past Supreme Court cases as well as the Bill of Rights, then wrote a cohesive essay together. They also opted to do an additional video that they wrote, directed, and filmed to share as part of the contest. The class attended the Zoom finals on December 14th, during which they attended a virtual tour of the National Constitution Center and a Q&A with judges. Ms. Beller's 5th grade class was hoping for a place in the top 3 to win a prize for Glenwood. Then, over in the Glenwood Music Department, rehearsals have been underway since last November. The music clubs are composed of current 5th grade students. The 25-member select chorus started their season with 2 recording days and are now working towards a caroling event at Glenwood for the final week of December. The 10-member handbells and hand chimes club have been loving their time playing through winter music to perform for our school community the final week of December. Finally, Glenwood's 10-member ukulele club has been strumming away, reading chords and notation, and are looking forward to many musical achievements in the spring. Lastly, Mr. Lehan, Glenwood's physical education teacher, is currently holding intramurals for 4th and 5th grade students 2 days a week. Intramurals are an extension of physical education classes that promote team-oriented activities. Students have the opportunity to compete in organized activities to develop stronger athletic, mental, and team-building skill sets. Now, on to what's happening at Indian Lane Elementary School.
Hi, I'm Kenzie Grant. I'm going to be reading the reports from Indian Lane. The PTG held its annual holiday extravaganza on December 4th. This year, the event was outdoors and well attended by many of our families. They enjoyed decorating their pre-purchased gingerbread houses, shopped for gifts from local vendors, and enjoyed hot chocolate and other holiday treats. There was even a special appearance from the Bobcat. It was a great way to start the holiday season. This year, in lieu of Indian Lane's physical holiday giving tree, our guidance counselor, Mrs. Hilden, created a virtual holiday giving tree. Using an online form, those who chose to participate in this giving program signed up for one of our designated recipients, purchased the gift listed, wrapped the gift, and brought it to school. This sign-up was filled within a day of being posted. The generously donated gifts will be distributed to families before winter break and bring many happy smiles and much holiday cheer to the recipients. On December 15th, students attended a multi-award-winning virtual assembly hosted by the Institute of Responsible Online and Cell Phone Communication. The focus of the assembly was keeping yourself safe online. Topics discussed included preventing cyber cruelty, PC and mobile security, and permanence of digital contents, along with poor social media and oversharing behaviors, and many other current and future cyber issues. The event was also available at night remotely for parents to view. This experience educated the entire family and allowed for on-point discussions with their children regarding this very important subject. Parents and children gained knowledge to promote responsible use of digital tools while also obtaining the wisdom to prevent negative, irresponsible, and malicious digital behaviors and trends. Here's what's going on at Media Elementary School.
On Friday, December 10th, our grade 5 learners and the Mustang Chorale traveled to Springton Lake Middle School to videotape their winter concert. Under the direction of Miss Jeanette Verdor and with the assistance of grade 5 teachers, Mr. Goldfarb, Miss Kotras, Mr. Schaefer, and Miss Senevitis. Both groups performed their songs for the concert. Editing is underway and soon families will enjoy a video of Media Elementary School's winter concert. Thank you, singers. During a recent virtual field trip, grade 3 learners extended their classroom learning by visiting Blankenau Hospital. During their trip, they added new information to their knowledge about the circulatory, digestive, and nervous systems. The presenter took turns calling on classes to participate and answer questions. The learners were engaged and had fun. Media Elementary School grade 5 students recently participated in a classroom geography beat. Tomorrow, the finalists from each class will compete for this year's Media Elementary School GeoB title. Congratulations to grade 5 Mustangs Carson Avancho, Louisa Helbig, Chance Gray, Max Sitchell, Haley McGuire, Joshua Teddy, Elizabeth Haynes, Benjamin Smith, Jackson Burke, Matthew Dang, and Matthew Dang. Good luck, geographers. Under the direction of Miss Jeanette Verdor, the Media Elementary School Chime Choir regaled the Media Elementary School learners and staff with special performance. Held in the atrium, we were treated to the melodious sound of the chimes upon arrival at school on Monday. The beautiful sounds of the chimes resonated through the atrium and put a smile on the faces of all who heard. It was a perfect way to start the week. Thank you, Chime Choir and Miss Verdor.
At Rose Tree Elementary School, the students in Miss Laughlin's fourth grade class are all now published authors. The students contributed writing pieces to a class literary magazine entitled Soaring Stories. They celebrated their achievement with a publishing party during which they shared excerpts from the magazine while also taking time to comment on each other's work. Congratulations to Miss Laughlin and all her students. The third grade students at Rose Tree Elementary were recently tasked with helping a turkey evade capture by a farmer by creating a clever disguise that would help to hide them until after Thanksgiving. The students used markers, craft materials, paint, leaves, fabric, and even food items to create the disguise for their turkey. The students also wrote a story explaining how the turkey managed to evade capture until after Thanksgiving. Finally, Rose Tree Elementary School students participated in an all-school PBIS celebration. They earned over 1,000 high-five tickets, which are earned when students demonstrate their ability to be respectful, responsible, ready to learn, and kind. Earning these tickets was celebrated with lucky draws for a variety of prizes during lunch periods, as well as a school-wide pajama day on Friday.
Over at Springton Lake Middle School, our sixth grade students have been learning about the causes of World War II, the creation and expansion of the Nazi regime, and the tragedies of Hitler's final solution. The students will expand their learning of the Holocaust through the eyes of a Holocaust survivor and Delaware County resident, Mr. Peter Stern. He will be sharing his remarkable story with all sixth grade students on December 21st. In the art department, all students have created and/or are continuing to add to their electronic portfolios. This is a wonderful way for students to document and write about their work throughout their middle school career. So far this year, color and design students have completed an element of art illustration. Drawing students finished their illuminated manuscripts, the value of silhouettes, and through the keyhole drawings. Mixed media students were excited to work with clay, and they are creating preliminary sketches for personalized clay boxes, clay masks, and figurative sculptures. Also, the Springton Lake Student Council is sponsoring a joy drive in support of the children in our community. Students and family had the opportunity to select a handmade snowflake from the Spartan Giving Tree. Each snowflake listed gift selections for a child in our school community. Students then returned an unwrapped gift in a holiday gift bag with the snowflake. We are very proud of our middle school student council for doing such a wonderful service to those in our community who need it most. To date, over 100 gifts have been given from our generous Springton Lake families. Finally, all of the Springton Lake ensembles, including choir, band, and orchestra, performed in-person concerts for the first time in 2 years. Additionally, select choir performed at the Rose Tree Park Festival of Lights, and Choice Voices performed at the Hedgegrove Theater. The performances were all amazing. It was so nice to be able to bring back our concerts to in-person. Finally, we have several updates from Pencrest High School.
Will Harmon and Sandy Carter met with chemistry teachers Alicia Kamal, Jen Clark, and Lauren Dixa to discuss supplementing both science and math classes with math topics needed for chemistry, such as dimensional analysis and scientific notation. This group will be meeting twice a month to brainstorm better ways to help our students be more successful. We are considering supplementing math classes with science math to review in the summer, creating mini lessons and daily warm-ups, and rearranging curriculum to bridge gaps between chemistry and math. We are also considering using guest math teachers in science, where math teachers teach the math content and science teachers teach the applications. On Thursday, December 2nd, the Phyllis Kavanaugh and Keith Sendall Scholarship Committee interviewed 10 highly qualified world language students for the annual Study Abroad Scholarship. This year's interviews were held over Zoom. The scholarship awardees will be notified the week of December 6th. On November 20th, 25 Pencrest students were announced as having successfully auditioned for the PMEA District 12 festivals. 12 students qualified for District 12 band, 6 students qualified for District 12 choir, and 7 students qualified for District 12 orchestra. Pencrest will host District Orchestra on January 1st. The Pencrest IQ team hosted their first home match since fall of 2019. The team defeated Ridley and Upper Darby. The final score was Pencrest 53, Ridley 39, and Upper Darby 34. The team not only captured the win, but had their photo featured in the Delaware County Daily Times. Lastly, the Delaware County Chapter of Pennsylvania Sports Hall of Fame hosted their Fall Sports Scholar Athlete Luncheon on December 2nd at the Springfield Country Club. Among the 6 talented honorees was our very own Gina Facciolo. Gina was recognized for her excellence on the soccer field, as well as her accomplishments in the classroom and her contributions to the community. Gina made us proud as she spoke to the distinguished crowd. Also, the keynote speaker was Pencrest graduate and Director of Basketball Operations for LaSalle University, Mike Doyle Jr.
Thank you all very much. Always amazing, everything that the schools are up to, and I know that I sincerely appreciated Indian Lane's gingerbread house experience as well, so I am always a beneficiary. All right, then, we do not have any board liaison reports at this time, so we're going to move on to the superintendent's report.
As we close out the calendar year, I know that we all believe we would be at a better place regarding COVID-19 concerns. And I join you in your weariness and frustration that we continue to have to respond to the changing conditions of this virus as we move from a position of managing a pandemic to learning to live with an endemic virus. Once again, these decisions are at the forefront as the board considers possible revisions to our health and safety plan. I can assure you that these are not easy decisions and that everyone is trying to make the best decision for the care of our students. I appreciate the level of community discussion and input to inform decision-making. This is reflective of a caring and engaged community and a sense of shared concern for all of our students and staff. As the winter break approaches, I wish all of you much needed peace and the joy of the season and upcoming new year. We are fortunate to live in a community that is pulled together to support each other, and I especially am most appreciative and grateful for the many efforts of our students, parents, and staff. In the spirit of generosity and kindness embodied in the season, may we continue to support each other and care for each other with grace and compassion. I wish everyone in our school community a new year filled with health, hope, and optimism.
Thank you very much, Dr. DiMarino Lennon. And next up, we have our solicitor's report.
Thank you, Madam President. You have my written report. Thus far, the school district has received 2 commercial taxpayer tax appeals for the year 2022 and 2 residential taxpayer tax appeals for the year 2022. But the filing deadline was yesterday. So I suspect more of both are going to be trickling in over the next couple of weeks. And I'll report further to the board and the administration when they are received. As they come in, I'm entering my appearance and answering each of those, as are other taxing districts that are participants in those tax appeals. I also received today from Middletown Township the proposed draft development agreement and improvement security agreement for the Indian Lane parking lot project. So that's moving along. We ought to have that tied down probably by this time next month, and that's ready to go. And finally, in my report, you'll see that I have 5 residential tax appeals that I'm requesting authorization to settle. They are tax appeals by individual residents for the year 2021, but it also covers the year 2022, because if a matter that's in litigation carries over on a tax appeal, it picks up the next year as it goes on. In other words, if it went for 5 years, it would pick up five years of settlement, but this is just for the years 2021 and 2022, and you have the data on each. I'm asking for authorization to settle those 5 tax appeals, Madam President, and that concludes my report.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kelly. So to that end, I was going to go ahead and suggest that we group letters A through E together in one motion. Is there any objection to my doing so? Seeing and hearing none. Do I have a motion to pass letters A through E? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion settled.
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kelly. All right, next up will be the president's report. And I just wanted to mention a few different things. One, our next legislative meeting is going to be January 27th. And that will be here at Pencrest. Our next committee/work session, though, is going to be the virtual session.
February host space.
Oh, sorry. My apologies. Let me go ahead and clarify for the record. So our next legislative meeting is going to be still January 27th, and that will be here. Our next committee/work session will be live and in person at Springton, or also virtual. You can live stream in. As I alluded to, in February, we will have purely a virtual one because we don't have space at either Pencroft or Springton. They're both taken. I suggest to be aware of that, and that will be, of course, is posted to our website. I also want to go ahead and just clarify some confusion in general about legislative and committees so that everyone can feel comfortable. So legislative is, of course, what we're in right now is the most formal meeting of the board, in which anybody who is a member of the borough or the township can come and give a public comment. The difference is, of course, with a committee or work session like we have in Springton Lake, is that you can come and you can give a comment as long as the item is on the actual agenda for that particular evening. So, and I'll mention this when it's time for public comment tonight, when it's at a legislative meeting, you can give a comment even if it's not on the agenda, but it is not a time for dialogue. The difference is with committee/work sessions, that's when you can have a bit more conversation. That said, though, I do want to assure everyone that the board and administration are here and will be happy to answer questions and discussions. If you also have concerns, you can email as well, and we always respond to every email. And we also have the Room to Grow website that we have posted a link as well, of course, to the main school board website. On the Room to Grow, we post all the information that we have on anything to do with the new school there. There's also the ability to go ahead and ask questions right through the Room to Grow website. So I just want to reiterate that's another resource as well, so that people who are, for whatever reason, not able to attend a meeting or to do a public comment, they still, we want to hear from you and you're still able to communicate with us. So I do encourage everyone to have and go ahead and check out that option there. I also wanted to go ahead and do a quick little summary about just some of the comments that we have received tonight in regards to what will be happening for the proposed revisions to the health and safety plan. So my apologies while I put up my phone, because that is where I have that particular information here. Okay. And so for this particular section of comments, I did want to emphasize that we received 32 comments and from the public. And of course, we'll be hearing live comments tonight as well for those who are interested. But we did receive 32 comments, and here is, excuse me, my apologies. We received 69 comments. I don't know. We received 69 comments in total, and I want to bring down the summary here. Broad summary. The 3 comments were opposed to revision 1 that we have listed. 2 of the comments were opposed to revision 2. 30 comments were opposed to revision 4. And of those comments, you know, we looked at different boundaries and whatnot. We also had 11 comments that wanted no masking, 11 comments that wanted masking regardless of any metric. 5 wanted no masking whatsoever. And then there were some comments that we had a little bit more difficulty categorizing. But I did want to assure everyone who submitted the comments about the new school, about the health and safety plan proposed revisions, that we have received them, we have read over them around the board, and we do take them seriously. We appreciate everyone taking the time to reach out to us. So we're going to go ahead now and move on to our scheduled presentations. While that is happening, if anyone is here and would like to give an unscheduled presentation, I encourage you to go in the back where the gentleman is, thank you very much, sir, is waving the sign-up sheet. You are welcome to sign up your name there, and that way when the unscheduled presentations are ready, we'll be happy to hear from you. And go ahead, please, Ms. Jeanette Verdur. We are eager to hear from you as well from RTMEA.
Good evening, everyone. My message tonight is a potpourri of good news. On December 3rd and 4th, Ronnie Miller, a Springton Lake science teacher, and I attended the PSEA House of Delegates, which was held in Philadelphia. Though she and I chose the virtual participation option because substitutes are hard to find on Fridays. Along with many inspirational addresses, including a keynote from NEA President Becky Pringle, the House business included prioritizing the critical shortage of substitute teachers throughout our state. Yesterday, the Pennsylvania legislature approved a PSEA-backed bipartisan bill that will help get more substitute teachers in public school classrooms and address this shortage that is stretching educators and support professionals to the breaking point. Governor Tom Wolf is expected to sign the bill. That is good news. and I encourage our district to monitor those details closely. Tonight, in the new business portion of this meeting, you'll hopefully approve a small calendar change. This small adjustment will give all teachers a one-time additional 3 hours during January or February to prepare for the great work they do each and every day. This is good news, and the association thanks the administration for implementing this. The board will also consider updates to the health and safety plan. As Dr. DiMarino-Linen mentioned a few minutes ago, we are all weary of the continuing pandemic situation. We appreciate the board's efforts to stay up to date on the science of disease transmission and to adopt policies to keep all students and employees as healthy as possible. In a school setting, while community transmission rates remain high, masks are good news. During the month of January, the women and men of the Education Support Professionals and Secretaries Unit will be holding a 100th Day of School Supply Re-Up, a school supplies drive to help Delco students finish the year strong. This is in partnership with Teachers Teammates, a local outreach program supporting students and teachers throughout the county. RTMEA will join in by hosting an empty backpack drive in tandem. Our efforts will also be a little friendly competition between schools, complete with prizes, striving for full member participation and collecting lots of new backpacks. Serving the wider community is always good news. And finally, on a personal note, this past Monday and Tuesday, I conducted my first in-person concerts in 733 days. Fabulous music and proud, happy kids. This is the best good news. RTMEA wishes you all a peaceful holiday season, and we will see you in the new year. Thank you.
Thank you. That really is a potpourri of good news. Excellent. All right then, for unscheduled presentations. And I'll just go ahead and read our little blurb at this point. To district residents and taxpayers wishing to address the school board are encouraged to do so at this time. Written items are strongly suggested. Speakers should state their name and their township or borough for the record before commenting, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. The school board may suspend the public comment period after a reasonable amount of time, and profanity, shouting, or personal attacks will not be permitted. Please note that the public comment period is not intended to provide an opportunity for citizens to address the board, meaning that it's not an opportunity for public. It is an opportunity to participate, public debate, or to question. Let me clarify that. The public comment period is intended to provide an opportunity for citizens to address the board. It is not an opportunity to participate in public debate or question and answer dialogue. Therefore, contact information, as I said, should be provided on the sheet here. So therefore, we can follow up either the board or admin with any kinds of concerns. I do always want to apologize if I mispronounce anyone's name. Our first speaker is Cynthia Sabatini.
Good evening, Cynthia Sabatini, Upper Providence Township. As just noted, I'm not a resident of Edgemont, but as a district taxpayer, I'm extremely concerned about the construction of the proposed new school for many reasons. The data collected and the analysis done regarding the need were conducted several years ago. Since then, we've all encountered a life-altering event, otherwise known as COVID-19. The pandemic has uncovered institutional limitations, including those of the public education system. Corey Turner of National Public Radio reported on Morning Edition yesterday that the significant enrollment losses that school districts reported last year have in many places continued this fall. NPR compiled data directly from more than 600 districts in 23 states and Washington, D.C., and found that very few districts have returned to pre-pandemic numbers. Most are posting a second year of decline. Needless to say, a subgroup of parents has rethought or are in the process of rethinking the best venue in which to educate their children, which has direct bearing on the current need for a new school. Since board members and the administration have noted on many occasions the need to follow the science/data. I urge you to follow your own advice and validate the current need for a new facility. To use old data that no longer considers the current status of the marketplace is folly. It puts taxpayers at tremendous risk and indicates that the board and administration are unwilling to fulfill their fiduciary responsibility. Taxpayers need to be convinced about the need based on sound, current, and readily substantiated data that they are not subsidizing a field of dreams. We've already watched the Field of Dreams movie in this district. I'm referring to the installation of artificial turf at Pencrest in 2015 at a cost of $1.6 million. At that time, the installation of natural turf would have cost $595,000, almost 2/3 less than the artificial variety. Now, in the name of full disclosure, no one on this current board or in the current administration were involved in this AstroTurf deal. One of the primary reasons cited for the installation of AstroTurf was that it would allow the district to open up the field to many more non-district athletic events and activities, and thus would generate revenue to offset the additional costs associated with the artificial versus.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Meg Kawan.
Good evening. I'm Meg Kawan from Upper Providence Township. I'm the parent of 3 students in our district. I have one here at Pencrest, one at Springton Lake, and my youngest is at Media Elementary. I'm also a pediatrician, and Dr. Marino-Lennon, you hit it on the head. I am so weary right now. But first, I did want to say thank you to all of you for your leadership and the mitigation measures that are currently in place in our district. I'm so incredibly thankful that my 3 children, along with the rest of the children in this district, have the opportunity to attend in-person learning 5 days a week. When I think about where we were a year ago, I'm amazed at the progress that we've made and that we've been able to do so safely. When I think of all the people that are involved, too many to mention, but it's been an enormous effort, and I really thank all of you for your leadership. I do want to comment on the revised health and safety plan and point out as I read it, it does deviate significantly from the recommendations of our national health experts, the Center for Disease Control and the American Academy of Pediatrics. The AAP recommends that universal masking should continue for all students, staff, and visitors, regardless of vaccination status, for the duration of the 2021-2022 school year. This recommendation was just updated last month. We do have data that universal masking is effective. Along with vaccinations, this remains our most powerful mitigation tools that we have at our disposal to fight this virus. While COVID typically is a mild illness, I've seen many children at this point with COVID-19. 771 children have died in the United States and 20 here in Pennsylvania. I've taken care of several children who've required hospitalization and in a few cases required intensive care support. A leading pediatric hospital published a study recently that compared schools with universal masking mandates versus those that did not, and found a 78% increase in COVID-19 cases in schools that did not have universal mask mandates. I would argue that this has gotten us to the point of where we are today, where we've had 5 days a week of in-person schooling without any shutdowns. I know that everyone that's here tonight is here because we're concerned about the health and well-being of our children. When I hear opponents to mask mandates, one issue that comes up is mental health. I agree that this is an important focus. A few weeks ago, the US Surgeon General actually declared youth mental health as a national crisis and significantly exacerbated by this pandemic. I see the effects of this every single day in my practice. When children talk to me about their struggles, they mention grieving about lost loved ones. They bring up their school stresses, their academic stresses from lost learning, missing out on other opportunities. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you. Next up is Stephen Lodold. Do we have a Stephen? Oh, thank you. My apologies again for mispronouncing people's names.
You were very close, so thank you. Stephen Lloydell, Middletown. It's hard to follow what she just said. I concur, and I think I would follow by saying I agree with what she just said. My family, we have 2 sons at Indian Lane Elementary School, and I believe in masks and them as a mitigation factor. I think it's important to maintain it. And so I support the revision to the masking. However, I do think that on a more conservative end is a safer way to be. My son, my oldest, who's 8 years old, 3rd grade, he was just had to be taken out of his classroom for several days following the Thanksgiving break because of 5 cases in his classroom, which amounts to more than 25% of the population in his classroom came down with COVID. There were multiple other, including my son, that had to be COVID tested and disrupted from his classroom because of the virus. It is still here. And with Omicron, it is still very transmissible. And every time it's contracted, it may not be a serious case, but it is a disruption. So I am in support of the continuation of masking. So I thank you for what you guys are doing to protect our students. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is Diana Lembo.
Hello, my name is Diana Lembo, and I reside in Edgemont Township. As I have previously communicated to you, Dr. DiMarina Lennon, and also to some of the school board members, this location for the proposed new elementary school, Middletown Road, is clearly not an appropriate location for a school. Instead of solving problems, you are creating new problems for the residents of Edgemont and also any resident commuter of Delaware County that utilizes Middletown Road. It will create heavy traffic, congestion, increased emissions in this area. It will cause massive delays for commuters during school drop-off and pickup times. Just drive on South Old Middletown Road at 3:45 p.m. at Indian Lane, and the road is heavily lined with parent pickup. Delay, delay, delay. The scenario of parent pickup and drop-off will be 10 times worse on an already heavily trafficked Middletown Road. The next question I ask, how will this school in Edgemont be filled with 400 students? It is our understanding from our meeting with 3 school board members this past September that Edgemont has approximately 180 elementary school age children. Thus, redistricting will occur from Upper Providence to fill a school of 400 students. Do parents in Upper Providence really want their young children redistricted to Edgemont just to populate a new school? How will the new school be filled with students forever and ever? It will force housing development on Edgemont. Thus, your problem will be solved. The school will have an endless supply of revenue, students to fill the school forever. And Edgemont will have many new problems. It will lose its green space, open space, quiet space, and semi-rural community and character. Here is a copy of Edgemont's new 2022 calendar and what residents have to say about living in Edgemont. Many quotes from each person that provided a photograph of Edgemont Township. They love the landscape, the semi-rural community, the wildlife, the quiet. They escaped massive overbuilt suburban developments to live here. Hopefully, you will reconsider your decision to come up with a more civic-minded solution to the problem. And I offer one solution. The Delaware County Juvenile Detention Center closed as of this year. To the best of my understanding, the county has no plan for this facility. It is located on the wider section of Middletown Road with public sewer and water infrastructure, traffic lights, and an area zone for institutional use. And it may even save taxpayers, as it always costs less to build on developed land than virgin land. And it is green to build in that manner as well. Hopefully you hear us and reconsider the decision to build in Edgemont. And as the chairman of Edgemont Township stated on this calendar, the community continues to thrive and be the emerald of Delaware County. Let's keep it that way. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Grace Fryer.
Good evening. My name is Grace Byer. I live in Edgemont Township. I believe some of my comments will echo some of the earlier comments about the proposed new elementary school in Edgemont. So I've lived here for 25 years in Edgemont Township. I was very surprised to be told recently that our busing of 180 Edgemont elementary school students is burdensome on the traffic and is adding to crowding in the existing schools. So what we're trying to understand is how does building the school in Edgemont on 352, the most congested thoroughfare in Edgemont Township, reduce the traffic burden? 352 is so congested that any current residents have to backtrack or turn the wrong way in order, sorry, my mask, to leave their homes. So is there a plan to expand the road and convert it to a 4-lane highway? That would certainly facilitate building the school in that location. If you know where Cardinal O'Hara is, that's what they have to do. So the new school will require 400 children. Edgemont doesn't have the school age demographic to support this. This means that, excuse me, that Edgemont kids will not really be filling the schools. You'll be busing them in for surrounding townships and adding to the traffic pressure. So we are currently on the surrounding areas dealing with the noise, the traffic overflow from Route 352, as well as the traffic's littering, noise, and dirt. So how much more noise, how much more will happen when we have additional 200 kids coming into the township, as well as related traffic? The roadways in Edgemont were never structured to handle the current traffic volume, much less a much heavier traffic volume. So those of us who moved here came here for open space, rural, semi-rural feel, reduce pollution, reduce refuse, reduce noise. What I saw in your estimates of progressions of estimated populations was that Media Elementary will continue to be underutilized, suggesting that location could have kids directed there. The other 3 schools could be improved. Vacant structures could be used. So we're going to put a school in Edgemont as a tiny portion of the elementary school population, but it must have its own elementary school. The logic makes absolutely no sense. The data does not support it. The data is old. So while a new elementary school may represent someone's private agenda, it does not reflect the appropriate use of taxpayer revenues. And I do object to the use of my taxpayer funds being used to purchase land to build a new school that's not needed based on false logic. I further object to the use of taxpayer funds being used to purchase land on yet another pipeline at the same time for the district. Thank you very much.
Is Kathy Buddy.
It's Kathy Buckley. On Township. I oppose the new school. We're already supporting in this township 5 schools. Now you're throwing a 6th one on us without the need. Also, has there been a traffic study on this location? You're rezoning, which shouldn't happen. 2, has there been a traffic study? I'm an engineer. I work on highways. There has to be a traffic study before you do any construction. I want to see the paperwork on that. 2, who's going to pay for this? How long are we going to be paying for this? Has it already been budgeted? Or are we going to pay for this the next 20 years? Also, I'm going to go on to masks. I know you had the pediatrician here. I'm an engineer. We have to work with them for construction. Here is an N95 box. I'll pull it out. Number one thing here. Number one on it. This product does not eliminate the risk on contracting any disease or infection. So any lawyer will tell you the masks do not work. And this is an N95, not a stupid cloth. Studies out there that prove there is absolutely no difference between a cloth mask and no mask because they don't work. They're stopping 2%. That's it. And you get more respiratory infections and disease you're supposed to breathe out and get rid of the waste. You're trapping it in with the mask. So you're causing more problems than solutions again. 2, vaccines. 1, I want to ask the pediatrician, how much does she get paid for the vaccines? For promoting them. 2, what are the long-term effects on children under 18 for these so-called vaccines? They're not a vaccine, they're an NRA. They're under emergency use. Pfizer and all the other companies have no liability. So I want to know what happens if 5 years down the line, it causes heart attacks, cancer, and everything else from these mandatory vaccines that you're forcing on these kids, and there is no law that says it has to be it, and these doctors are getting paid for promoting the vaccines, but this is not a vaccine. So I am telling you right now, you are in for a big lawsuit if these kids start getting cancer and everything else from what you mandated, because they can't go after the pharmaceutical companies, but they can go off after every single one of you that mandated it. So you better think before you mandate anything.
Next speaker is Bill O'Donnell.
Hello, everyone. Those who I've served with, those who I've seen, it's great to see everybody. Changed the mood a little. I just want to thank everybody. We had the Headstrong Alumni Challenge at Pencrest on Friday, November 26th. It was an incredible fundraiser. If you're not familiar with Headstrong, Headstrong is there to improve the lives of those who have cancer. And so Pencrest alumni, over 54 Pencrest alumni participated and played the Strathaven alumni. I'm maybe the only one who knows, but I'm very happy that Pencrest won. And between this game and the Springfield Ridley game, raised over $50,000 for the Headstrong organization, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Sean Milligan, who is a graduate of Pencrest, was a beneficiary, so he received a check to help him with some of his expenses while he fights cancer. And another organization had given sticks to both the Rotary Optimists as well as Strathaven youth organizations so that kids wouldn't have to buy sticks when they first started. So I think it was an incredible feel-good moment. I want to thank the board, Dr. Eleanor DiMarino-Linnan, Ron Baldino, and facilities staff, which is always tremendous, and Chip Ollinger. Thank you all. I appreciate your service. Have a great holiday.
Next speaker is Christian Gallagher.
Hello, everyone. My name is Christian Gallagher. I'm from Middletown. First of all, go Birds. Second, thank you all very much for your service, looking out for the community. I think masks do work, awesome. Keep that stuff up. But kids should also get outside. Yeah, recess for high school maybe. That's something that I definitely missed. Yeah, getting kids outside, connected with nature, improve our environment, improve our health, you know, help us resist these diseases, you know. So that's it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone. That concludes our public comment portion. And so now moving on to our old business. We don't have any old business at this time, so we're actually going to move on to our new business. If we scroll on down there. All right, well, I will, hopefully somebody's scrolling. So I'm going to go ahead while we're waiting here and suggest that we group A 1 through 12 together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Hearing and seeing none. Do I have a motion to pass 1 through 12?
So moved.
Let's try that again. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, letter B. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we group 1 and 2 together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Seeing and hearing none. Do I have a motion to pass B 1 and 2? Do I have a second? Second. Discussion. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'm going to suggest that we group letters C and D together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Hearing and seeing none. Do I have a motion to pass C and D?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now on for letter E, the health and safety plan. 1 second to pull up. As you know, we have 4 resolutions before us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and read each resolution so that we can vote by turn and know exactly what we're focusing on for each particular one. So for the first one, the resolution would be resolved that the board approve a revision to the health and safety plan that uses local rates of transmission as defined by the Delaware County Board of Health when available to determine levels of transmission and when masking will be required. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I would like to speak in favor of the motion. I believe strongly that in the past we had this local data and from the Chester County Health Department, and that it was very useful for us in making policy and understanding exactly what's going on in our neck of the woods. I don't think that this motion would change our interest in wider data from the county and from the state and the nation, nor would it lead us to ignore CDC recommendations or Delaware County recommendations, but it would give us a new tool to allow us to understand our local situation better and to craft our policies going forward in a way that reflects the realities in our district specifically. I would also note that the way this is that this will also allow us to be a source of information for the experts who are flying at 50,000 foot level and do not have that much information on the ground
And with us working with that information, we could help them see the details that they sometimes are not able to see because they must pay attention to much broader issues than what we face. So for all those reasons, I would like to support this.
Thank you, Mr. Dennett. Any other discussion? All right, I'm going to go ahead and suggest we do a roll call vote, please.
Ken Dennett,
Aye.
Hillary Fletcher,
Yes.
Jackie Gusick,
Yes.
Robert Kelly,
Yes.
Susan Lane,
Yes.
Kelly Schaefer,
Yes.
Teresa Napson Williams,
Yes.
Susan Henderson Hughes.
Yes.
Vote passes.
All right, next up is resolution number 2. I'm going to go ahead and read the proposed resolution. Resolved that the board approve a revision to the health and safety plan that reflects a uniform masking policy for students in grade kindergarten through 6th that parallels the masking policy in place for students in grades 7th through 12th at any given time. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. In that case, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote.
Ken Dennett,
Yes.
Hillary Fletcher,
Yes.
Jackie Gusick,
Yes.
Robert Kelly,
Yes.
Susan Lane,
Yes.
Kelly Schaefer,
Yes.
Teresa Napson Williams,
Yes.
Susan Henderson Hughes.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, the next proposed resolution, number 3. Resolved that the board approve a revision to the health and safety plan that allows limited essential visitors to school buildings and requires visitors to show proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test within 24 hours of the visit. Do I have a motion to pass resolution 3?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. Again, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Ken Dennett,
Yes.
Hillary Fletcher,
Yes.
Jackie Gusick,
Yes.
Robert Kelly,
Yes.
Susan Lane,
Yes.
Kelly Schaefer,
Yes.
Teresa Napson Williams,
Yes.
Susan Henderson Hughes.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. And now for the proposed resolution number 4. I'm going to read that. Resolved that the board approve a revision to the health and safety plan that allows for the identification of a transmission level of a low substantial range along with a less than 1% incidence rate in a school building during a 2-week period to move to a mask optional policy. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I have one clarification on the wording of that. I think it should say 2 consecutive weeks. We don't want an average there. Is that correct?
That's correct. We'll make that change there. Thank you very much, Mr. Dennett. Correct for 2 consecutive weeks, not an average. Okay. We have our motion, we have our second. We're on to discussion. Any other discussion?
I was just going to mention that I don't plan to support this resolution. I definitely appreciate and sympathize with the desire to move beyond the stage that we're in right now. And I appreciate Dr. DeMarlin and putting together a plan that tries to do that a little bit sooner than we might if we stick to the categories of mandatory, non-recommended, high, and substantial. I do feel really strongly we need to sort of stay the course with following the guidance that we've been following. But I'm also sensitive to the fact, and we've heard a lot of this from Dr. D in the administration, that it doesn't always fit for schools. So I am interested to continue to explore this going forward, but I feel like we need a public health entity or expert to kind of be in our corner and have those discussions with us in a public way, so that we can have some documentation to lean on when it comes to kind of creating these nuances in terms of the categories.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Any other discussion?
I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I would
We
just
can hear
echo. Oh, thank you. I just want to echo Kelly's statement. I don't need to say any more than that. She said everything pretty succinctly. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fletcher. Any other discussion?
I want to speak in favor of the resolution, and to note that the terms of this were nowhere near the levels of infection that would trigger this. We are way higher and have been for the entire year and are trending upwards. So it would not have any immediate effect. In any likelihood, it might not have any effect this entire year. But it would stake out a subtle shift that may be of interest to folks and slightly change the point at which we can move to lower mask requirements, and that would, I think, help give people hope for that, and I would support that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dinitz. All right. I'm going to go ahead and ask for a roll call vote, please.
Ken Dinitz,
Yes.
Hillary Fletcher,
No.
Jackie Gusick,
No.
Robert Kelly,
Yes.
Susan Lane,
No.
Kelly Schaefer,
No.
Teresa Napson Williams,
Yes.
Susan Henderson Udis.
Yes.
A tie 4-4.
And pass. We have a tie because one of our board members is not able to be here, so the motion for resolution number 4 does not pass by virtue of it being a tie. All right, moving on now to finance. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we group A 1 through 11 together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Hearing none and seeing none. Do I have a motion to pass 1 through 11?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up is letter B, the ratifying of academic entertainment agreement. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, I'm going to suggest we group letters C and D together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Hearing and seeing none. Do I have a motion for C and D?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we're moving on to the addendum. I'm going to go ahead and suggest we group A 1 through 4 together in one vote. Is there any objection to my doing so? Hearing and seeing none. Do I have a motion for A 1 through 4?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is letter B, the overnight trip. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I'm very excited for our band students. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next up, as a reminder, our next legislative meeting will be January 27th, 2022. And before that, of course, will be our next committee/work session, and that will be on January 11th. January 11th. January 11th. So we're going.
Oh, yeah, we're Thursday.
So the calendar on the website should be updated then. All right, in that case, then I'm going to go ahead and suggest we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a motion? Do I have a second? Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.